If you look at the map of consciousness by David Hawkins, right? He, with all kinds of scientists and multi disciplines, went around the world to different cultures and communities with questionnaires, kinesiology, energy work, right, in a million different modalities, and all together figured out how to calibrate the energetic frequency of different emotional states, right? So the lowest frequency, and keeping in mind, as your peeps know, the higher your energetic frequency, we're all pure energy vibrating. Our body holds a frequency and emits a frequency. And the higher it's like an old-fashioned radio dial. You have the station and the volume, right? So the higher your energetic frequency and the more powerful, the more good you're going to manifest in your life. All things, especially when you match it with intention. The lower, the less, right? So the lowest frequency we can hold is shame. The highest frequency we can hold is bliss. And it's a physical state, right? We can all, if we wanted to, think about and tap into something where feel shame around and feel that in our body, right? It's the same. We can also tap into bliss. But it's hard to do that, right? Unless you're a monk on a mountaintop or something. So what happens with sex magic, and there's lots of ways to do this, but one of the ways that I teach in the book, I love helping people, teaching people how to create sigils, which is a visual representation of that which you want to manifest. Sigils. And so you basically, there's a process to it. We could go into the week, but basically, really quick, you write the sentence as an I am, right? I am pregnant. I am the author of a best-selling novel. I am in love with my soulmate. You know, whatever it is, I am. And then you cross out all the vowels and the repeating consonants. And you have usually 4 or 5 letters left. And then you make them into a picture. And then you draw the picture. I like to put it in a circle. And you just look at it. And you maybe even keep it by your bedside. And you're not necessarily staring at it during arousal or orgasm, but before, maybe for a moment you stop. Maybe you have it nearby. Maybe you even have it under your pillow or nearby while you're being sexual. And if you can imagine the image, you hold on to that image as much as you can. Obviously, as you're getting really aroused and into orgasm, you're going to be in the moment. But even in the afterglow, you're still in an energetic state of bliss. So look at it again, right? And then we release it, which is a really important part of manifestation, right? Because when we're holding on to it, we're in I want, I need. So you burn it, you tear it up, you let it go. After that, you can always make another one if you want to keep working with that thing that you want to manifest. But that's a really beautiful example of how you might use sex magic.
That is so cool. And I just want to give a shout out because I have, dear friends, but I feel like Annie B, you're going to really love that one. It's so you. That's so cool. I love that sigil. And it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be in your head. You're just like, boom.
Yeah. Or you can choose just an image of that thing, right? Whatever that is, something that represents that for you. You can have your vision board nearby, however you want. But when you're holding those higher frequencies, that's when you really can supercharge things into the quantum field.
So cool. Let's talk about that the thing you said about emotional connection. For me, I'm a woman, but so I think it applies to most women. But if I don't feel that emotional connection or my emotional needs aren't being met, I am not turned on at all.
Yeah.
Mama just wants to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But if I feel supported and held and I'm backed by that masculine, holding me in all of my human flossomeness, then let's get it on, For women, or for me, let's just talk about me. I find just in the last year, I was reflected back to me that I don't feel justified in getting my needs met. And when I heard that, I was like, that's not true. That can't be true. And then of course, in the next 24 hours, it was all true. And I just broke down on the floor and became a mess because I realized it had been true.
Yeah, holy yit. One of those holy yit moments.
Holy yit. And especially in sex, it's such a vulnerable thing. I find that the two things I struggle with are like, how the hell do I communicate what my needs are?
Yeah.
Because certain women, like, we don't even know what our needs are because we've been so used to putting them aside to serve others, whether it's our kids or our husband or, out of the fears and our attachment styles or whatever. So how do we even know what our needs are? How do we communicate them without being so awkward? It just feels so awkward and embarrassing.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay. It probably feels, it's especially awkward, embarrassing sexually because we have our taboos around that. But I find that most people, especially, and lots of people are like you're describing, it's awkward to ever ask for what you need. There is embarrassment around having wants or needs for many reasons. For some of us, like in my case, I was the parentified child that I had to take care of my parents in order to have my needs met. So I could very easily become a burden, right? So for me, I wouldn't ask for what I wanted ever because I didn't want to be a burden and push someone away. Someone else, they would be ridiculed or they would be punished, right? We all have these unconscious fears that have been imprinted upon us around, asking for what we need. One of my favorite kind of mantras that I still have to remind myself, and I'm pretty freaking good now at asking and feeling fine about wanting what I want and needing what I need. And it's amazing, by the way, to live that way. It's amazing how much people want to give you what you need and want when you just ask and realize the sky doesn't fall when you do, is that you don't need a reason. This is so important. You don't need a reason to want what you want. You're just allowed to want what you want. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. You don't have to have a rational explanation for why you want it. You are allowed to want whatever you want, And from a sexual standpoint, it is a process, I believe, for many women, most women, I would say, of our age, and younger women are kind of for lots of different reasons. If you're under 35 listening to this, this may not be as much you, although I'm surprised how many younger women this also applies to. But if you're over 30, this probably also applies to you, that you have to discover for yourself through self-exploration what you even like, what kind of touch you like, what kind of energy you like, what kind of pace you like, how you like to be touched. And then you have to then, with a partner, learn to articulate that. And there's an art to doing that we can go into if you want. Simple things like when you have a directive, especially, you want to ideally wait, unless it's something really uncomfortable, and you're really not enjoying it, wait until you're not in the sexual scenario to give that feedback. Always give it in a really positive way. So you aren't talking about what you don't want. You're talking about what you do want more of, right? So I don't like it when you touch me in this way. You say, I really love it when you touch me in that way, Yeah. So there's an art to giving feedback because sex is sensitive for lots of people. But I think it's discovering what you want and really recognizing, and it takes practice. It's awkward and scary at first, especially if you tend toward codependence. I'm a recovering codependent too.
Same.
Right? So if you tend toward that, it's tough. But what's really cool is that I find that codependents tend, when we start to go into recovery, so much in our life changes for obvious reasons. But on a frequency level, what we are doing as active codependents is we are in training to and matching everyone else's energetic frequency. We are never holding our own, literally or energetically. We are never just holding our own energetic frequency. And that's what I teach in Quantum Love, is when you learn to do that and do that with intention, you move yourself into the energetic frequency that you would feel when your partner shows up for you exactly how you want. They have no choice but to match you there when you hold it. But most of us are so unconscious that we don't do that, right? So as you are giving that you're in a new relationship, you are setting the stage with this person. Like, I am someone who is learning to give voice to my needs and wants. I'm asking that, will you be willing to be patient with me?
Cool.
Are you willing to embrace as I give you feedback because I really want a robust, exciting, passionate, beautiful sexual connection with you. And if he doesn't or they don't say yes, then bye-bye. I mean, that's a really good litmus test to start with, right? Like, how are they going to take that conversation? And then you're moving yourself into the energetic frequency of she who is totally having that, whose partner is thrilled to meet her needs, who wants positive direction, who isn't judging her, who is so thrilled. Because by the way, especially if you're with a man, they love directions. They want to be our white knights. And it's a disservice when we let them think they're getting us off when they're not. I can't tell you how many men have sat in my office with a partner who can't reach orgasm and sat there and said, well, I don't know what's wrong with her. Every other woman I've ever been with has reached orgasm. And I have to break the news like, listen, 75% of women fake orgasm. Chances are, we mercy fake because he's trying so hard, but he's like touching our belly button instead of our clitoris,